am wanting to tell you a story on this fine Friday night about the time that my little brother Evan has stepped on my little sister's earring. This is Evan. He was playing in the backyard while swimming when he stepped on my little sister's earring, much like the one that I have here. When he cried out in immense pain, he automatically lifted up his right foot to stop the pain from continuing on. How did his leg know how to do this? Well, there's a good explanation for that. And why didn't Evan lift up both his feet? Well, that is because the pain receptors came from only one foot, his right foot, causing what is known as an ipsilateral reflex. An ipsilateral reflex is when the sensory stimulus and a motor response occur on the same side of the body, in this case the right side. To help maintain balance, a contralateral reflex is fired off. This is what is known as a crossed extensor reflex. A side note on the ipsilateral and contralateral reflexes is that it is part of what is known as a polysynaptic reflex. Polysynaptic reflexes can produce more complicated responses than a monosynaptic reflex. A reason for this is that the interneurons that are involved in the stimulus can control several muscle groups and can produce either excitatory or inhibitory postsynaptic potentials. All in all, in a blonde girl's world, what that means is that a lot of neurons can control a lot of muscle groups to stimulate or inhibit a reaction. So how do neurons communicate? Well, it's pretty simple. The pain receptor is received by a pseudopolar somatic sensory neuron. It then travels through the axons to the dendrites into the next PSS neuron. This can be seen as from starting from 1 and traveling up that blue line with the black arrow going up right next to it. This process continues through the spinal cord until the message reaches the ventral root, which can be found right outside that little node area outside of the vertebra. From the ventral root of the spinal cord, it is then processed to the dorsal root ganglia, where several cell bodies of sensory neurons wait to decrypt the message to find out where, what sensory it is, in this case it is pain, and how to stop it. The dorsal root ganglia is the node itself on the vertebra, outside the vertebra right there. In Evan's case, the message is then sent to two different areas of the body, which is conducted by the interneurons that lie right in the vertebra. That is that purple line that you see right there. So the pain receptor is taken from the sensory neuron. It is then decrypted and then changed to where the motor neuron can read it and take it to the muscles. The response message is then sent to start the reflex movement of Evan's foot and leg. An antagonistic reflex is then to be inhibited. The synapse of the motor neuron releases acetylcholine, causing the muscles in the foot and left leg to contract, eventually lifting up his right foot and keeping his left leg stern for stability and balance. So in Evan's case, the flexor muscle would be his quadriceps, which would help lift his foot up from the painful earring. The extensor muscle would be his hamstring to lift the leg and ultimately his foot. For his left leg, the quadriceps would act as an extensor muscle, as well as the hamstring muscle acting as the flexor to help keep Evan stable and balanced as he lifts up his foot. This is all part of what is known as the reverberating circuit within the positive feedback system. This helps keep Evan's foot lifted and left leg stable as long as needed until the pain receptors no longer fire off. So Evan had performed a crossed extensor reflex in a matter of seconds. The moral of this story: watch out for those earrings laying around unless you would like to test your crossed extensor reflex.